Hello. This is the I guess behind the scenes discussion. I'm Kurt. I created Altered Program. I animated it. Oh, there's Eli. Yeah, I animated the whole thing, and I acted in it. I was the robot 205, and yeah, it was a long process. And I'm here with Sam, who was also in the film. He was the captain. What Sam? What's his canonical name? Let's make this up on the spot. What's his name in canon?
Angus McLeod McKinney Fraser McScotsman.
That's it. There we go. That's it. We'll talk about your character later, but we went through like a lot of variations with his voice and just kind of how that character sounded. So I guess I'll start at the beginning of the process of making this. It's pretty interesting. So junior year, I had junior studio. So at the end of that, I started experimenting with animations, and I did these little animations using just pen and paper. Well, actually, it was pencil and paper, just hand drawing them, and I used rotoscoped techniques. So I would have the video on my computer, and then I would go literally frame by frame and animate every fourth frame, and I put that all together, and you'd have a complete animation. And it was pretty rudimentary, but it worked, and it worked really well. And it had like an interesting aesthetic to it. So I thought for my CGM project, I would go ahead and I would build on that, and I would create an entire short film using that technique. I need to figure out what the story would be, and what I ended up on was, I knew from the beginning that the main character was going to be a robot, because I'm not going to have actors for the movie, so I needed to work with what I had. So I wanted to avoid as much dialogue as possible, so I just had the main character just be just voiceless. Building off that, I thought of okay, what could the story be around that? And I came up with the idea of Scruffy, this little squirrel. His canonical name is Scruffy, so he does have a name. It's not mentioned in the movie.
Okay, well, I was worried about that.
Yeah,
I'm a stickler.
Yes, you're a stickler for the lore. So his canonical name is Scruffy. Which, by the way, he has brain damage after this. That poor squirrel. You know it.
That's all he has?
He has love too, but also he has brain damage.
Well, I'm gonna say you got thrown against a wall, and all he has is brain damage.
Oh, he lost an ear too. If you look closely.
Well, I'd call that a bargain, but yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe that ruins the ending, but yeah. So the story was always going to revolve around Scruffy and the robot, their relationship.
Are you showing that on Friday?
Yeah, would you like to say hi?
Can I just say something as a supporter?
Yes.
My name is Eli. I'm Kurt's roommate, and it's just been such a pleasure to watch the creative mind that I could only compare to Avatar 2.
Wow, powerful stuff. Really is a wonderful movie. That movie makes you think, really. Yeah.
And what if they were mammals who lived in the sea?
What if they were? What if they were like whales?
No.
My biggest compliment is the way that director Kurt Dermeyer took motion capture back to its original form of painter's tape and spandex.
So, what was I going to say? Yeah, so back to the original. Originally, the script, the story was much different. It was going to take place in the near future, would take place in kind of like a city section, and I wanted the backgrounds to be like CGI and to move with the camera, because I wanted the camera to be dynamic and have dynamic motion to it, which is something, if you watch 2D animation, the backgrounds kind of stay somewhat static because they have to. Because if you have characters who are 2D animated and they're changing dimensions and you want to move the background, you have to animate every frame of the background with that, if you're doing frame animation. Which is not the case with 3D animation, which is why 3D animated movies can be more dynamic. But there are ways to work around that, those limitations. So that's what I wanted. I wanted the backgrounds to be either 3D animated or live action, so that I could get dynamic camera movement, which you can't really get with traditional 2D animation. To get an idea of how different the original script was, there is concept art that exists for the original script, where 205 is wearing a suit, like a full suit and tie, and he also has in all the concept art, he has his middle section cut out because they wanted to have that middle section removed, just trying to reinforce the fact that he is indeed a robot. I wanted him to kind of have a Boston Dynamics kind of robot look. In the finished movie, he just looks like a human with some lines on him, but it gets the job done. That script was very different from the version that ended up being filmed and animated. The original script is a lot darker. Scruffy dies at the end of the original script.
I don't think we could show it to children if that happened.
No, it wasn't. It was kind of a dark story. A lot of people died, and
I hear a lot of backlash from the studio.
yeah, a lot of backlash. They didn't think it would be marketable. Eli's eating pickles in the background again.
If you're in the Vermont Department of Education, let it be known that Eli is eating pickles in the background
with a butter knife. And he's eating it he's making a little sandwich with the pickles.
And one of the crackers fell on the floor.
And fell on the floor.
Very disrespectful.
Yes. We'll continue now. Yeah, the original script was a lot darker, a lot more emotional. The robot, over the course of the short film, basically kind of discovered emotions and learned how to become more human. And a little bit of that remains in the final product, but a lot of that has been censored for the public, Sam, because they weren't ready for this kind of story.
No, I feel like give it, a good 15, 30, 45 years, maybe.
Yeah, maybe then
this
they'll be
film
ready.
can be uncensored.
Look, James Cameron, people weren't ready for Avatar until 2009.
No.
Okay? No, he had to make Piranhas 2 before he can make Avatar. I made concept art of that version of the script. I had that script all planned out. That is still the script I prefer. I think it's awesome. I think it's really good. I had that planned out, and we're going to start filming in September. And there is actually, I did end up filming one scene from that script, which still remains, with Connor and my friend Jason. We filmed one scene, that filming went well, and it was it was like a long chase sequence through the forest. So this footage, this scene, did end up making a cameo in the movie. It shows up in the background here as the movie the captain is watching, a movie within a movie. The original script was also a lot more ambitious. It was going to be 20 to 25 minutes long. That was completely unmanageable, I found, but it was going to be a passion project for me. And so why did we not go with that script? Well, this was the movie was stuck in production hell. Production hell.
To use a very scientific term.
For about well, it wasn't that long. It was a couple weeks, but it did set me back. It was what happened was basically every time we're going to film on the weekend, and every night before, it's the start of the school year. Parties are happening. Something would always happen the night before, and my friends and the people I was filming it with, they were like, "Yeah, we can't do it." Damn it. And so I'd push it off to the next week, and then something else would happen again the night before, and the filming could not happen. It was just production hell. So I had to go back to the drawing board. I just said, screw it, I'm going back to the drawing board here. And I rewrote some of the script to involve less people. And then I finished animating the scene that I did film. And it just didn't look right. Something about it was off. It just wasn't lining up. The camera movement wasn't really working all that well. Combined with the live action backgrounds, it just didn't work. So I just said, all right, I'm going back to the drawing board on this whole thing, and I got to come up with a different script, different story, and then just do that. So I'm actually glad I never filmed the original version of the script, because I would have had to scrap all that footage. So I started on the finished version that you just saw. It took a long time. The animation process itself, I expected it to take a couple months. It took like 5-6 months. It took a long time. But I got the animation done, and I put that into Adobe. A lot of the stuff that isn't hand-drawn, there is some stuff that isn't hand-drawn. The stuff with the ships, that's all done in After Effects. Some of those just like images were created in Illustrator, brought over to After Effects, animated, all that. There's some, so we should talk about the filming process. How I did it, how I filmed this was
A Cameronian feat.
a Cameronian feat, Sam. Basically, I use motion capture to film it. So I dressed up in a really goofy looking outfit. Jamie, bring that one up.
Yes, to describe it in layman's terms, so my director doesn't get too caught up in minutia.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt was dressed entirely in skin-tight Under Armour and track pants.
Was it Nike too, or just Under Armour?
I think it was just Under Armour. Yeah. I think it was
He's
just Under Armour.
sponsored, of course.
Yeah, sponsored by Under Armour.
Yes, the money was very helpful.
Connor, I also had him where he had to wear somewhat tight clothing because he was also played a robot character. So what happened was it's basically mocap. You wear tight clothing, tape is wrapped around certain parts that I want to animate later, certain like lines that I wanted the character to have. And so like Connor had to be dressed up in this stupid looking getup like twice. I think he was getting the role because he towers over me.
He looked good, yeah.
Yeah.
Both of you looked very good.
Yes.
I must say, Kurt, I felt like I was on the set of James Cameron's Avatars 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Oh, it truly was. And Sam, I did a little bit of magical cinema trickery with your jaw too, because I wanted your character to have like some cool,
Jaw
thing quirk to it. So I just put some pieces of tape on your jaw and use your beard lines as references
Yes,
for your metal jaw.
Kurt, I'm very happy I didn't have to wear a skin-tight outfit
Yeah.
and have my waist and limbs taped.
No. Yeah, you could preserve your dignity.
Yeah, it was very humane. Whole
Yes.
process.
I unfortunately
PETA approved.
I unfortunately could not preserve my dignity. Basically, we just filmed it in live action. So we were dressed in mocap outfits, and I just took that footage, that live action footage, and I just translated that into animation. So again, just like I did with the other projects during senior studio or junior studio, I did every fourth frame. So the animation runs at about, gosh, it's pretty low. It's like 6 frames a second or something. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, but it's pretty low. But again, I was hand drawing every frame, so it was tedious. 6 frames a second is pretty good considering. The first scene we filmed was Sam's scene where he was talking to Connor, and I don't know, I think this scene is hilarious. It subverts your expectations for villains in a movie. I like the idea that they're just like on the ship for like a really long time, and they're just socially awkward and like don't know how to communicate.
if you're on a ship for that amount of time, there's no way you can dedicate that amount of time to being that evil. It's a lot of effort to be maniacal and plotting. So,
Yeah.
you're watching movies.
Yeah, what's like Darth Vader do in his free time? Do you think he ever just has like normal conversations with like his like officers?
This
I also like this random Guy Ritchie side character here that I play. Just an absolute nothing, just red shirt, disposable. Just only exists to say his iconic catchphrase, which is, remember, we have 3 minutes to offload as much cargo as possible. And then just gets yeeted out of there. Fun theory, is this the same guy who did not get a wave back, and was he so disgruntled by that he resorted to piracy? Maybe. Another interesting theory, is Scruffy all in 205's head? Does Scruffy even exist? I will not answer that question.
This scene was kind of fun because if I recall, Kurt had a script, and
A vague script, yeah.
a very vague script, and I could not remember any of the lines verbatim for the life of me. So going off Connor Torpy and his perpetual comedic ability.
We love Connor. We wish Connor was here, but he has a lot of work, so I don't want to stress him out by
His just natural comedic talent. We just kind of bounced off each other and produced something that was kind of awkward and weird, but hopefully funny.
I literally just said, I literally just said, just improvise it. Like I had like a starting line he had to say, and then just from there just improvise the scene, and that was really fun. And then a couple of other fun scenes. Me and Connor had our little fight scene. That was fun to do. Fun fact, this is a fun behind the scenes fact from filming. When I raise Connor's gun to his head and he blows his head off, I actually smacked him in the face with a gun, and he carried on the scene like a trooper. And there's actually some of this, there's like some stunt work here. Some of it is animated, but some of it's actually done. Like that thing where I flipped over a table and knocked over boxes, that was actually done. For real, I did that.
Do it for the shot.
But hey, I don't have Tom Cruise. I don't have a stuntman.
No.
Oh yeah, Scruffy of course is all animated, and there's a scene where Scruffy jumps on your head, and I literally just said, just act like there's a squirrel on your head, and so that's what you did, and I just animated Scruffy around that.
Yeah, I have to say it's a bit harder to imagine than one may think.
I mean, very few people have had squirrels on their head.
I know I haven't, but
neither have I.
I'm a method actor, so
Exactly. I really appreciate the dedication to his role. Speaking of dedication, I should mention that Sam was sick during the day of filming, so his voice was absolutely screwed.
Don't be sorry, lad. It's just hard to hear with a deep voice and all.
Quite frankly, I sounded like a 10-pack-a-day smoker.
I kept that voice in for a while. Decided to redub it. I just wanted to hear what it sounded like with different voices, and I think what we went with was like a yuppie voice, something very timid,
like a very soft, a very soft yuppie who's.
Gosh,
guys, I don't know about this.
Bobby, oh. Yeah, and I think that adds to the comedy of that scene. I think that was, again, kind of an unexpected choice for essentially the theme's main villain. There's a few details, a few Easter eggs sprinkled throughout. One interesting thing is the sound for the engines for the ship, which doesn't have a name.
Don't tell
But
me
it's
it's NX-01.
No, Sam, it's not the Enterprise NX-01. No, Sam, do you know what the sound of those engines are? I'll give you a hint. You hear it every day.
Your door?
No, Sam, it's the sound of freedom, Sam! It's the sound of liberty!
Uncle Sam giving us a gift.
Giving me a gift. Yeah, I just literally pointed my phone at the sky and recorded that, and that became the sound of the engines. Another cool little detail, when you may have noticed this, when the ship kind of stalls out, you get that zero-G scene, some stuff flies up from the ground. Of course, Scruffy floats in midair. But you also have in the background, you have HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey. You also have a Starfleet communicator badge.
Oh.
Yeah. No! Oh no! My son! No! I'm 97 years old! And of course you have a Amogus. Also, this random shot right here is a direct reference to the Nick Cage slap. I just thought that was so funny, and I literally just threw that in there, just haphazardly, without a care in the world. Some interesting things to mention. The dialogue popping up on screen, when a character talks, the dialogue pops up on screen. That was kind of done last minute in addition. And it kind of, I like it because it brings it into the realm of like a graphic novel in motion, which is really cool and really unique. Also, the thing that 205 wields, that big stick, what is that? I don't really know. He just needed to have some kind of weapon because he's going to be down an arm later on in the fight. But I think the assumption is that he just rips a pipe out of the wall, like one of those many pipes you see in the background of like every shot. Also, the fact that standard protocol is to blow up the ship if it ever gets boarded. Now that makes no sense, but I don't know. I feel like if Amazon was an intergalactic corporation, that they'd have some like weird screwed up rule like that. And the credit sequence. The credit sequence was actually done for a different class. That was done for my animation class last semester, which dealt mostly with Adobe After Effects. So that was my final project, so that kind of tied in there and worked out nicely. Even the text-to-speech voice gets a shout-out in the credits. Thank you, Alice. You were great. The planet that the ship lands on for the finale, originally it was just going to be a cloud planet. If you were wondering what the story is behind that planet, why are there these giant robot carcasses lying around? Why are these like look like ruins? You're not getting an answer.
Yeah, don't ask why.
There's no canonical answer for that. That's
up for interpretation.
Up for interpretation. I'm sure some nerd, look, if this becomes a franchise, some nerd is going to come up with some lore.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be a wiki written by someone who has seen the sun in weeks.
Yeah, they'll come up with their own story for that planet. I have no idea what that is. I just thought it looked cool. Yeah, I should also mention the score. Fantastic. The score is fantastic. The score is done not by me. I reached out to the music department at St. Mike's, and they put me in touch with the music department at Chapman University, who put me in touch with a professor who put me in touch with Christian Chandler. Breaking news, important editor's note. This is me from the editing booth. His name is not Christian Chandler or whatever I called him. That's not his name. His name is Chandler Chilvers. I call him Christian because his brother Tristan also worked on this. I'll get to that later, but I call him Christian because Christian and Tristan Chandler sound like a really good dynamic duo, and I can't get that out of my head. But his name is not Christian. It's Chandler, and his last name is Chilvers. From Chapman University.
Where is that?
California, I'm pretty sure. Wow. So he did the score for me. We actually never met in person. We were going to meet over Zoom, but we realized that we were like time zones apart, and we just never figured that out. So we just communicated over email. So he did the score, and he basically just did it for fun and for the experience of like doing commissioned work. And he did a fantastic job. I gave him kind of like guidelines of what I think it should sound like, what I wanted, and he just took that and said, all right, and he did his own thing with it, and it turned out incredible. Very synthy, very cool. My favorite is still 305's theme. Connor Torpy's theme song is awesome.
Connor deserves a good one.
He deserves a good theme song. And he at the end he brought in his brother Tristan, so we got Christian and Tristan Chandler, the dynamic duo, working on the score. And they even did a piece for the credits sequence, which was just above and beyond. So a huge shout out to Christian and Tristan Chandler, and huge thank you for doing that score. That was some awesome work that they did. What else is there to say? This short film will be up on YouTube next week, a week from now. It'll be up on Jason's YouTube channel. I worked with him on other stuff. I've acted in some of his other short films just for fun, just because he needed an actor. He was going to be a bigger part of this project. Originally, I wanted him maybe to even be the main character, but yeah, he was a big help in all this. This is going to be up on his YouTube channel, which is a YouTube channel basically for short films and for content creators. It's called 8 Ball Productions. So this will be up on 8 Ball Productions on April 21st. Basically it. Yeah, I mean, I hope you liked it. It's a fun little thing, fun little project. Yeah, that was really the main goal for this project. I wanted it to be fun. If it was boring, I will have failed, but I don't think it's boring.
So I did it for money, but
yeah. Yes. Sam did it for the money. He did it for that James Cameron paycheck.
Yep.
All right. Well, yeah. See ya.